As a creative technologist, I must say that I didn't find a lot of immediate use from general like LLMs out there like ChatGPT and Claude in the beginning. And that's because I was using it like most people do when they're first getting into it, and I was just asking it questions. And in the beginning, I would ask it for like a little bit of code here and there, or maybe some ideas for like scripts or titles of YouTube videos and things like that. And honestly, using it for that like kind of simple creativity isn't its real power. And honestly, I think if you're kind of a somewhat functional creative, you're much better than it. It might maybe spur some ideas from you, but generally when you ask it to do things like that, it's not very good. However, what these new LLMs are incredible for is coding. And that's probably not news to you if you're using Claude Code and Codex, but I want to show today a project that I started literally last night and finished last night that I use now in Premiere that is 100% usable, that I'm going to use to edit this exact video and all my future videos, and just hopefully illustrate how LLMs, when they're in a coding harness right now, I'm using Claude Code, you could use Codex, I want to show just how powerful they are for simple things for real creatives that could actually make your editing life, in this case, much better. So for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Matt Workman. Welcome to Workman Labs, where I'm pretty much exploring the Gen Media generative AI ecosystem, and that does include code. In my past, I've made plugins commercially for Maya, plugins for Cinema 4D, plugins for Unreal Engine, games and apps with Unreal Engine, and I've had multiple e-com websites that I've made products and sold to the creative industry at large. And I have many YouTube channels and Instagram accounts, etc. And now I work full-time at Fall, which is a Gen Media infrastructure company, and I'm doing creative technologist work and primarily making their content for YouTube and social at large. So filming videos like this, editing them, this is something that I do a lot, and I want to be able to do at scale as much as possible. So one of the main things that I really want in my videos is to be able to have uniform A-roll. And what's really common right now, design-wise, is to put the talking head, this video right now, into different size boxes with rounded corners. So in Premiere, there's a lot of different ways to go about this, and I've been using a mask that you can then do expansion, which makes it rounder, and then you can use that as an opacity mask on your footage. The problem with that is that you really lose parametric control, because what you then have to do is say you're going to round the corners like 50, whatever that means, maybe it's 50 pixels, but then you scale the image. And so the corner of the box from a UI point of view is sort of uncontrolled, right? So that's just one approach to do it. There's other ways, but usually if you have to crop into a different aspect ratio, which is typically vertical, it doesn't work to actually use the roughened edges trick that I see a lot of people do. So one, I've been looking for a way to do this better, and two, a way to have more control over it. And after talking with the team at Fall, I'd been already starting to vibe code websites, which is the Workman Labs site now, and I was like, hey, let me try to vibe code a Premiere plugin so that I can kind of standardize the way that our talking head boxes show up in Premiere. And if I do that, then everyone can use the same exact plugin, and all of our videos can match. And also it can save us a lot of time. And let me tell you, this plugin does save me a lot of time. Like, it's crazy. I don't have to think about it either. It saves me time and also mental headspace to worry about something else. So what I did was hopped into Claude Code, and for the first time I was actually using the Claude desktop app in code mode, which previously I'd been using Terminal because I've been doing a lot of like Claude Code CLI, command line interface stuff. I'll walk you through like really quickly like what happened in Claude Code to make this project come together, and just some of the things I noticed along the way. So the first prompt here, just in a fresh project, said make an Adobe Premiere plugin that adds a mask to A-roll footage with rounded corners and places in preset positions. So that thought for a very long time, and I'm using Fable 5 High because we want it to work. And what was cool is that it's teaching me about the Adobe plugin ecosystem as it goes. It's going to build a CEP panel. There's a newer version of plugins that they use as well, but this one's kind of standard for now. And it broke down things that I didn't even know about Premiere, where it said that it doesn't actually have access to make masks on footage, which honestly isn't a great approach anyway, because you sort of lose control of the final corner radius of the square. And it said, we're going to generate a black and white mask and use that as a track matte key, which I'd never even heard of before. So I learned something about Premiere, and it's like, you know what, we'll automate this process for you. So just pretty crazy. So after a little while, Claude Code was done making the first iteration of the plugin, which it keeps in the folder that you give it to, and then it symlinks it if you're on Mac. So basically you could have your plugin on your desktop or in Documents or something like that. And then it just does like a kind of like virtual plugin into your library directory, and that's kind of how we install it. So it did that automatically. And then it also auto-launched Premiere and generated some test footage and tested the plugin for me. Now, one thing that I think is interesting is that I believe right now Claude Code can't actually see the UI. It's not like screen recording the whole time and analyzing that. And it wasn't even taking screenshots like it would for certain websites. It was basically doing output. So it would do the cropping, it would do like the setup with the layers, and then it would export images, and it could analyze single images at a time. So I'm just sitting there watching it, and it's cooking this thing up, it's exporting images, it's being like, that's a little wrong, and it was basically just doing it all itself. So this is pretty wild, but I'm getting used to it now with AI coding, that it's really this automated at this point. This is the early state of the UI, and out of the gate, incredible. It allowed me to be able to position where I wanted the kind of picture-in-picture box to be anchored, like top left, bottom left, side middle, center, which would be kind of odd. And it gave us these parameter sliders for size, like how big is it, and it was in percentage, which is great. So like we're assuming kind of like either the longest dimension, I imagine, like what percentage of the total sequence resolution do we want it to be, like half size, quarter size, 3/4, and corner radius, and all the things that you'd want to control creatively. And then at this point, we could select footage and apply to selected clip. It would generate the matte, hook it up, and then we would get our final rounded image. The problem with this first iteration was that I had a 1080p sequence, but the footage I was using from Seedance 2.0 was 4K, and it didn't handle that correctly or the way that I wanted it to. But I basically wrote a prompt saying that, you know, this looks great, but when the footage is a different size than the sequence, that the corner radius isn't controlled, it isn't consistent. We really wanted consistent, like final corner radiuses to all match, or radii, however you want to say that. And so Claude was like, great thought, and it went through and fixed that up for me. The next thing I wanted to add was different aspect ratios, because I didn't say that in the first prompt, and I asked it to add 16:9, 1:1, 4:3, and 9:16 aspect ratios. And a couple minutes later, we had that new version. This is what the UI looked like. It's pretty good. I did a couple tests, and the final thing, or one of the last things I wanted to do, was also automate nesting these two things together, because this relies on the ARL video footage and then a graphic above it, directly above it. That's how that composite basically works in Premiere. I wanted to nest those things together and make kind of like a subsequence, so it showed up as one clip. And then I also wanted it to automatically add a border to it, which it's not called border in Premiere, it's called stroke. And so all of these things are just saving me clicks, right, in the end. So I was like, you know, please make it nest, and then also add the stroke, add some checkboxes for these things. And then finally, I also added to make another aspect ratio of 2:3, which is typically what I'm using for my YouTube videos these days, my explainer videos. Likely that's what I'm going to be using, because that's my kind of favorite resolution. And yeah, the whole process was pretty automated, pretty incredible. So here's the demo of the plugin, but we basically have a sequence in Premiere, it's 1080p, and we have our normal talking ARL footage with some graphics in the background. So I'm going to select the footage, and then I can choose the aspect ratio. We're going to probably go with 2:3. And then we'll choose our anchoring, which is a smart anchoring system. I really like it. And we can choose our scale, how big relative to the sequence, or the sequence resolution is the picture-in-picture going to be, how big, how round are the corners. Then we just enable nesting and our border. and we click one button, and boom. Now the thing is in the picture-in-picture. It's very clean, it's in one nest. And for this layout, I'm gonna scoot it over to the side and adjust the border so that you can see it a little bit better. My plan with Workman Edit, the plugin for Premiere, is I'm going to just help myself at the moment and make a couple different tabs of these processes that I need to do all the time for my videos. So this video will have been edited with this plugin. This will be the second video. I'm actually making a video for fall that I'll also use it. But this is the first couple of videos that I'm actually using the plugin. And now what I'm gonna move on to do next is for fall, for our YouTube videos, I wanna have a couple more graphic things that we can cut away to. We wanna have lower thirds that are consistent. We wanna have title cards, animated transitions, some animated text, motion graphic stuff. All of this can be pretty much done using Claude Code if you know what you want. And if you roughly understand, more than roughly, but you have to understand what the final thing will look like in Premiere, right? So for motion graphics, it's maybe PNGs that it generates, right? Or maybe it does make text fields. And then you can animate in certain aspects of those text fields and then nest that all together and say, how long is it? I believe the transcription is built into Premiere now. So you take your A roll, transcribe it to text, cut that text up into pieces, and you can make these plugins that help automate these processes while remaining in control creatively. And all of this stuff, generally, you can just go back into Premiere, and it's just regular files, and you can animate it and tweak it as you want. So it's not the same as when you do Claude Code Design animation, where it bakes it into an FFmpeg. Basically, it's all baked in. This stuff is still editable in Premiere. So this was just a little side project I've been working on with Premiere. And again, as a creative technologist and former, and now very active plugin developer, Claude Code Fable 5 really unlocks so many things. I don't even know what language we wrote this in. I think it's JavaScript, but it doesn't really matter anymore. So in the future, I'm definitely going to be maintaining this Workman Edit plugin for Premiere because that's what I'm currently using. I will eventually probably look at what porting it to Resolve would look like as well. And on the 3D side of things, someone at our company actually makes a really great plugin for Blender already, so I probably won't go into that space. But as soon as I get back into Unreal Engine world, there's a lot of generative AI stuff with Fall API or just on its own with the MCP. There's a lot that can be built on top of Unreal Engine 5 or 6 as it's coming out with so much AI in verse. There's a lot of stuff to help automate that and make it easier once you understand how creatives work in that space. So that wraps it up for this video. Let me know what you think about Workman Edit, the Premiere plugin, and I suggest you go ahead and build your own plugins too. It's pretty easy. I'll see you on the next video.